Hello, everyone, and welcome to the JG Show. I'm your host, Joey Guden, and this is episode 4. In this show, we will be discussing what it is like to be a college student, the experience of going away to college, and more. I couldn't think of anybody better to bring in for this than my good friend who is about to enter his junior year at Penn State, Evan Sutton. Welcome, Evan.
Hi, Joey. It's great to be on your show. You got an amazing studio over here. All your pictures of all the stars of the world, Frank Sinatra, Elvis Presley, and, of course, you yourself. All of your sports memorabilia. It's just an amazing environment to be in here, and I'm really honored to be on your show.
Aw, thank you so much. Well, I feel very honored to have you here. It is amazing. I'm so grateful to have you in the studio with us today.
Yeah, it's awesome to be here.
So, Evan, before I get into our questions and answers, because, obviously there's a lot of questions that, I want to ask you and our viewers want to know.
Certainly.
But, please, feel free to tell us a little bit about yourself first.
All right. Hi, my name is Richard Evan Sutton. People just call me Evan. I'm a rising junior at Penn State University in State College, Pennsylvania, right smack in the middle of the Appalachian Mountains, right smack in the middle of Pennsylvania State. I live with my mom, dad, and younger brother in San Mateo, not in Burlingame, but a little bit south of here.
Pretty close.
Yeah, it's just a train ride away. So, Joey and I have basically been friends since my family moved here from San Diego, California, down south. And we both went to Stanbridge Academy, and, we interacted sometimes, even though we were in different classes and had sort of different friend groups. But we didn't see each other for 6 years when I moved away to public school. And we rekindled on Facebook, of all chances.
Yeah, that was crazy.
I think weird. 2 Gen Z kids using Facebook. That's
yeah, it's interesting. You'd think it would be Instagram or something else.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of talked over Instagram, didn't we?
Yeah, we did, now and then.
Yeah, and so, Joey, I remember you invited me to your Christmas party out of the blue.
Yep.
We shared an awesome hug. We're all like, it's been a while. Holy crap. And
we showed up at my house.
Yeah.
It was Christmas of 2022. It was
yeah,
incredible.
I remember. You invited me so sudden. I could only think of getting you was a gift card.
Oh, well, honestly, that night, I was just, more than anything, I was just happy to have reunited with you. That was special. I remember that.
Yeah, man. Maybe one of these days we could unite with some of our other Stanbridge friends.
Oh man, that would be awesome. Imagine if we did an episode of this show with like all our old Stanbridge friends, like a big reunion. That would be incredible.
That would be good. Although it'd be tough to sort of get a lot out of other people there.
It would be hard to get.
I feel like a lot of our Stanbridge friends had moved over to like New Jersey or.
Yeah, it seems like some of them have gone back east and they've ventured out to other places. We always do something virtually, but go on.
Yeah, and basically, a lot of my experiences at Penn State, they've been really cool. But I think we're gonna talk about that a little bit later in the show, will we?
Yes, absolutely. So that actually brings me to my first question for you. How has your experience, in a nutshell, been at Penn State?
My experience at Penn State has been overall really cool. That's just putting it lightly. I honestly think Penn State is my home away from home. The greenery is incredible. The trees atop Mount Nittany and the Appalachian Mountains in the autumn are so gorgeous, which you honestly never get to see with all the evergreens in California. How I got to Penn State is my father and I took this long 5-day trek across the United States. We went to Elko, Nevada, which is a little bit of a gold mining town. We went to Cheyenne, Wyoming, Des Moines, Iowa, Toledo, Ohio, and then we arrived in State College. We stayed in an apartment for a little bit, and then until I moved into my dorm. Unfortunately, I did not get that much of a dorm. It wasn't a very good one, but we'll talk about that later, probably. And overall, my experiences at Penn State have been incredible. The teachers and the professors are amazing. They're so ready to help. My friends at Penn State are incredible. Yeah.
Well, that is awesome to hear, dude. I mean, it seems like you're doing really, really well out there. I have to be honest with you, Evan. I'm very, very proud. Like, as your friend, I am so proud of you. I really am.
Yeah, thank you, man.
You are doing it. I mean, he is doing it, y'all. So, if you don't mind, what are you majoring in?
I'm majoring in political science with a minor in labor and human relations in the liberal arts college.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
What made you pick Penn State as your school of choice? Like, why Penn State? Why not somewhere else?
Well, I was actually considering going to pretty much any Big Ten school I could get into. After I went to Penn State, I just felt like I was meant to be there. Like I said, it's my home away from home.
You felt like it was your home away from home?
Oh, yeah. I applied to Wisconsin, Ohio State, Oregon, a lot of big football schools because I feel like that's what I can build a group around, a network around, because that's what I like to talk about sometimes.
Well, obviously, I mean, I can sympathize with you there because I love football too. Actually, you know what? On that topic, what are your, obviously, you being at Penn State, we all know that your football team, the Nittany Lions, are incredible. So, what are your predictions on how the Penn State football team is going to do this year?
Well, as for predictions, I'm no expert, but I can look at some stats. Unfortunately, because of the NCAA's greedy hands, the Pac-12 has fallen, and now the Big Ten has got itself Oregon, Washington, USC, and UCLA. Now, last season, USC and UCLA were very tough teams, but their quarterbacks, Michael Penix Jr. for UW, and I think it was Caleb Williams for USC, they've both graduated. And we're not exactly sure what their next quarterbacks are going to be. And if we look at the betting lines, Penn State is third, is scheduled to be third place to be on the Big Ten finals. Yeah.
Well, that is awesome, man. Well, good luck to them. I really hope that they do well this year. As always, you know, I made a deal with you since, like, obviously I'm not currently in any college right now. I made a deal with you once we reconnected that I'd be, you know, whenever I'd be watching college football, I'd be rooting for Penn State all the way. And so,
oh yeah, that's for sure.
That does extend to this year. I will be rooting,
yeah.
I'll be rooting for him as always from home.
Thank you very much.
And we will definitely, sometime before you graduate in 2026, I am going to get out there to a game. I've seen it. I've seen it too many times on TV, and the place just looks incredible.
Well, let me tell you, Joe, the atmosphere at Beaver Stadium is unlike anything you've ever experienced. We have the loudest student section in the NCAA.
Honestly, I believe it.
Oh yeah.
I could already kind of tell on TV. I couldn't imagine being there.
Yeah, the hot dogs are incredible. The food is unbelievable. The cider is, well, it's cider, but it's good.
I was going to say, I love me some cider.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yes.
So, what is your favorite part of being a college student?
Well, this ties back to my general experience at Penn State, but generally, my favorite part of being a college student is that it's allowed me to not just break out of my shell, but tear it open. Because adapting to the entirety of the environment, actually going to clubs where I can find like-minded people and I don't have to seek them out randomly, that's been a huge milestone for me when it comes to networking with people and developing incredible relationships and incredible friendships. So basically what I do is I am involved in a lot of local elections and a lot of environmental activism. I attend and facilitate protests. I talk with local leaders. I remember speaking with Mayor Ezra Naines quite a bit with my club. And since then, back to the question, my favorite part of being a college student is that all the people there are just incredible. And I don't think I'm going to meet with them. I don't think I'm going to have that opportunity ever again unless I play my cards right. And second of all, I get to talk with all these people that have all these different backgrounds and cultures. I honestly wish I said this when you asked me about my general experience at Penn State. But
it's okay, you're talking about it now. It's all good.
Yeah, that's right.
And that is, I mean, honestly, sorry to interrupt you, but I will say that is just incredible. Like, the fact that you're able to be around so many people that come from so many different backgrounds, so many different walks of life.
Yeah.
And to be also around like-minded people, I mean, that in itself is amazing.
And it's not just interacting with the people from different backgrounds and cultures. It's being engaged with them, learning about the types of systems that they're used to dealing with. I remember I was talking with one of my Greek friends named Chris. I was actually talking about Greek culture, and then I was talking about Greek politics with him. And he was like, wow, most of the time Americans don't know anything about other cultures, but here you are standing right in front of me talking about Greek politics. And so it feels really good to break the stereotype that a lot of Americans are sort of historically, geographically, or politically uneducated. No offense to our American listeners, but yeah, it just feels good to interact with all these incredible people and learn about what they do, what they're interested in, and what they're used to dealing with at home.
Yes. So, what was the biggest adjustment for you once you arrived to Penn State during your freshman year? Like, coming out of high school, graduating high school, and making that transition to college. Like, what was the largest adjustment?
This is going to be a pretty common one for a lot of you folks that are going to go after college, but living with a roommate was one of the hardest things. It depends on my mood, but I describe myself as sort of half introverted, and sharing a room with someone like about just slightly larger than this studio we're in right now, it's not an easy experience. So I got a very unlucky selection with my dorm. I got Shunk Hall, which we all call Skunk Hall because it smells terrible. It just wasn't that great. It just was like, it wasn't that great of a dorm. The bathrooms are structured in such a way where the mirror is like 10 feet away from you, so you have to squint to see yourself. And the showers, they're kind of like stalls, and they either dispense freezing cold water or scalding hot water.
Ugh, that's the worst. I hate showers like that.
Oh yeah, so do I.
I've been in some showers that are like, so tiny.
Oh,
like being a tall guy, I've been in some showers that are so tiny that, like, literally, there was one shower that I was in once. I think I was staying somewhere. I was on like a trip or something, and I was taking a shower, and I threw my head back. I had to literally throw my head all the way back to rinse my hair out, and the shower head wasn't adjustable. It didn't tilt or anything.
Oh man!
Like most of them, they'll tilt, 180 degrees or whatever. But this one didn't, and it was just like, oh my God. I had to like squat down to wash myself. I was like, this sucks.
Oh, cripes. Yeah, I was glad to be out of there once sophomore year came around. I got a single with my own bathroom that time.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I hope you get something like that again this time.
I did. My housing assignment came out on the 16th. I got Eastview Terrace again.
Nice. That is awesome. Well, I'm happy for you there. Cause
For those of you who don't know, Eastview Terrace is like the quote unquote luxury dorms at Penn State. They're all singles, and we all have our own restrooms. But unfortunately, there are no parties in the waiting rooms, so it can get a little bit lonely. But it's good if you're an upperclassman and you already have a few established friends.
Okay, so it doesn't sound too horrible.
It's good, honestly.
I mean, it sounds a lot better.
Great.
It sounds a lot better than what you had during your freshman year.
Yeah. I will give Paula Calls some credit. They recently did a dining hall upgrade, and the food there is so much better than all the other dining halls.
Well, that's good. So, what advice? Because we have, I will say this before we get into our next question. We have a lot of people that are listening to us that are from Burlingame High School and many other places. I know that we have a lot of high schoolers that are tuning in now. So this is definitely going to be some advice for you guys. And before we get into that, I want to congratulate Burlingame High School's Luke Levitt for committing to play football at Pomona College after he graduates next year.
Congrats.
Yes, congratulations, man. Evan, if you don't know who Luke Levitt is, he is one of the mains on the Burlingame High School football team. He is incredible. So if you're listening, Luke, congratulations.
Maybe if if Pomona and Penn State were in the same league, I could watch you play, but unfortunately they're not.
Yeah, unfortunately they're not. But anyhow, congratulations, man. I just want you to know that you've got all our support here at the JG Show, and we are so proud of you.
Oh yes.
So, what advice, Evan, do you have for somebody else who is about to graduate high school, being that we have a lot of high schoolers listening, and head off to college or considering going away for college? What would your advice be to them?
I'm glad we got to this question, Joey. And my advice is 3 words. Do your homework. Research any colleges you may want to come across. And also write down a list of the qualities that you want in a college. Do you want to be close to home? Are you okay with venturing away from home like I was? Do you want to have a school with a large sports culture? Is that not your thing? Do you want your school to have good social services, which all of us, of course, do? And that last one, I think, is one of the most important things to do your research about. How much support do your professors give to you? Like, if you're going to a big, huge research university with professors that are spending all day doing research, but you would like a lot more support from your professors and more of a direct relationship with them, then a huge stereotypical college life is probably not going to be for you. Probably better off at Reed or one of the other liberal arts colleges that are much smaller. We're all different. I wanted like a big stereotypical college life, not totally, but I don't know if you've seen the movie Animal House, but that's
I've seen Animal House.
Oh yeah, that's basically how the frats are in Penn State, even though I'm not really involved with them.
Yeah.
Point is that Penn State is a pretty stereotypical big party school. Yeah.
It seems like it, to be honest.
Yeah, but back to the original point, I think the best thing that you can do, people who are going to be going off to college, is do your research about the administration, do your research about the classes, the school's reputation, your requirements to graduate, if you have to write a thesis or anything like that. Or if you... Let's see, what else? Or if they offer any services or accommodations for students with disabilities. I know that that's a big concern for a lot of us. That was a concern for both of us.
Yeah, it was definitely a concern for me and one for you too. I mean,
yes.
I'm being autistic myself. Yeah, I totally know what you're saying there. And there's a lot of people these days, especially that are in that boat for sure.
Yeah, that's right. I would also research the general environment of the student body. Read blogs and even Reddit posts by students. Even though they might be anecdotal, they do offer a good portal into what you're going to be going through at whatever college you're thinking of applying to.
Yes. Yeah. Reddit is always a good source. I mean, honestly, Reddit can get very toxic, but in that respect, It's a great source.
Right. So in conclusion, folks, do your research, do your homework, do your due diligence.
Alrighty. Well, you heard him on that. Do your research, folks. Listen to Evan, and you will have a very, very successful college career. So
there are plenty of others. I'm no expert. I would recommend, let's see, r/applying to college. I would recommend College Confidential. Let's see, there's niche.com. That gives you a lot of good data on what GPA or SAT scores you would need to get into your colleges of choice. Yeah.
Nice. Alrighty. So
and don't apply to just one. Sorry.
No, it's all good. It's all good.
Don't apply to just one. There are a lot of people who do that, and they don't always turn out so well.
Alrighty. Well, that's some good advice there, you guys. So, is there any special hobbies or interests that you have?
Well, I'm going to say it's going to be very difficult to talk about my main interests because I know you don't want to get political on this show, Joey, so I'm going to skip that one. But
that's good. No offense, but yeah, we don't really do politics here.
Yeah, that's right. I figured. So I do enjoy cooking quite a bit. I do like making a good beef Wellington. I did that as a sort of going away party for freshman year with all my friends.
That is awesome.
Yeah. And see, I also like exploring new cities, just traveling around the country and just the Bay Area in general. It's an incredible place.
Oh yeah, I mean,
pretty much every week. I would take the train or the bus up to the city or to Oakland or maybe even to Livermore if there's a volunteer opportunity there. I just love to interact with people who love their community. I love to interact with people who are incredible citizens and do the best to help each other and their community.
And those are honestly the best kind of citizens around.
Yeah. I must say, if the world would be a much better place if we were all good, caring citizens.
I agree.
Yeah.
We need more people like that in the world. It would be a much better place. We're lucky here in Burlingame, where I live. We happen to have a lot of people that are like that. They're very friendly. It's always, I mean, honestly, like growing up here, it's always been a very, very close, tight-knit community, so to speak.
Yeah, I don't know if any of you viewers remember talking about the 6 pillars of character, but citizenship is definitely one of them. Yeah, and I think it's a pillar that isn't addressed enough. I think if you want to assemble your future early, the best thing you can do is research on being a good citizen, researching volunteer opportunities or campaigns and causes that you might care about, and get involved in them, because those are the people who are remembered well in our history books. So it makes sense to take that opportunity while you can.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So if you had one word to describe yourself, what would that word be?
I think human beings are way too complicated for anybody to have just one word to describe themselves. But if you want me to describe myself right now, I would just have to say grateful. Grateful to be going to such an incredible school. Grateful to be having a lot of great friends and professors. Grateful to live in such an amazing place in an amazing state. Well, 2 amazing states, rather, California and PA. And grateful to be in such an incredible studio, and grateful to have such an incredible friend like you, Joe.
Oh, thank you so much. You are incredible too. Let's not forget how incredible Evan is.
Oh yeah.
I appreciate it. I appreciate the support. And speaking of support, I also want to thank you guys, our listeners, for all the outpouring support that I have received in the last couple of days. As you know, yes, me and my family, we're going through some very, very difficult things and tough times right now. But I just, again, want to relay what I posted yesterday. I want to just let you guys know that your support and I appreciate your guys' support in a way that I never have before. I've always appreciated your guys' support, but I guess what I'm saying is, sometimes when times get tough, you take a look at the things you have around you and suddenly you appreciate them more. And I just want to let you guys know that I really appreciate you guys. I appreciate you guys, JG Nation. You guys are my fans. So thank you. Thank you for listening to my music. Thank you for listening to the JG show. Just letting you know that, it's never overlooked how great you guys really are. So Evan, is there, me being the host here, is there anything that you would like to ask me as the host?
Well, the only thing I know about show business is that there's no business like it. So in general,
that's true.
Because you've been in show business pretty much all of your high school life. You've done all your spectaculars around the community.
Yep.
And now you're doing this podcast. How does it feel to be back in show business?
How does it feel to be back in show business? That is actually a very, very good question. Well, to answer that question clearly, first of all, I never really left show business. I kind of just went on like a little hiatus in 2023, so to speak. But as far as how does it feel to be back, to answer your question, it feels great. I am so grateful to be back in this business, to be back in front of this microphone, and to be interviewing fabulous, fabulous people like you and all the other guests that I've had on since we've started this show. Alex Rotundo, Patrick Myers, Fast Break Fred, and now you, Evan. I mean, honestly, this show has been off to a fabulous start. And to be honest with you, I don't see it stopping anytime soon.
That's great. I hope this show continues for the ages.
Same here.
Yeah, I can see you got a lot of people on your wall who have known show business like the back of their hands.
Oh yeah, all the people that you see on my walls in here are my idols. They have inspired me since I was a little boy to do what I'm doing now.
That's awesome.
So that's my answer to that question. It feels great to be back, and folks, I ain't going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, nobody here wants you to go here wants you to go anywhere. Well, not away, but you'll certainly go far.
Yes.
You'll certainly go far.
Absolutely.
Especially with that performance in Vegas.
Yeah, that was incredible.
That was one heck of an opportunity. I saw that on video.
Yeah, that was one heck of a night, to be honest with you. And all our listeners here. If you guys want to know more about what went down that night, I have a video on my channel that I uploaded last September, shortly after that happened, kind of describing what that experience was like. That was one of the best nights of my life. I'm just going to say it. I would say that it was the night that, for 6 or 7 months prior to that, I stopped doing the spectacular after December of 2022. I had my final show. And for the first half of 2023, I was very down. It was kind of like, I don't know. There was a period where I didn't want to do I didn't want to do this anymore. I didn't want to do this kind of thing. But then when I had that opportunity to get on stage in Vegas at the Luxor, I have to say that rekindled my love for show business and everything about it. I have to say.
That's great.
That's when I think right shortly after that, I remember I did that performance, and literally when I got home from Vegas, I think it was like the next morning or that same night, I just, the light went off in my head and I was like, you know what? I'm going to fix my studio back up and we're going to get this going again. And that was around the time that I greenlit this podcast. I mean, I came up with the idea of doing this in 2021, but at that time in August 2023 is when I started kind of putting this format together and figuring out, how can we actually make this happen now? And now it's 2024 and we're here and it's happening.
That's awesome. I've loved that you got in your studio all fixed up.
Yep.
Awesome. Yeah, it's just an incredible environment to be here.
Before we close off here, is there anything that you would like to add?
Well, jumping on the general theme of this podcast, which is going to college, applying to college, doing all that stuff. Be prepared, people, but also be hopeful. Because it might be, a lot of you might be a little nervous to go off to college, especially if you're going to somewhere far away from home. And more on that, don't let anybody pressure you to go to a college that you might not want to go to. If your parents went to college somewhere, that's great. It's always good to have a mother or father or both who went to college. It's always a good milestone. But just because they went to a university like Stanford or Harvard or any of the huge prestigious universities that might be out of reach for some of you, don't feel pressured or shameful that you might not get into one of those, or don't feel pressured to apply to a school that might not fit your needs. And more on the hopeful part, it might be a little scary if you get into college. You're like, now what? What'll I do? Am I going to have any trouble making friends? Will the professors be cool? First, do your research, but also be hopeful. Really, really embrace the college lifestyle. Buy merchandise of the college logos. This podcast is not sponsored by any college, by the way. It's just a little bit of advice. Get excited about your choice of university. Get excited about your major. Start researching stuff about your major so you can really, really impress your professors on what you know in the class. Yeah.
That is some spectacular advice right there. Because there are so many young people, like people our age and even people that are a little bit younger than us, like the teenagers and whatnot, that they get really wrapped up in trying to get into one of those big schools. And I mean, that's fine, but then they get really down when they can't seem to do what their parents did or what their parents are pressuring them to do. And, I've seen so many kids honestly fall because of that. And, luckily I never really went through that myself. I mean, I did a little bit, but not that much. But yeah, I really agree with what you said right there, Evan. I have to say, you've been really giving us some really, really good advice today. Stuff that I think that our listeners are really, really going to appreciate.
That's great. I'm glad to give advice about college anytime.
Perfect. Because like I said before, we've got there's a whole body of students over at Burlingame High School that, are listening to us, and a lot of them are incoming seniors this year. So obviously they're about to graduate in 2025. So that's what's up next for them.
Right.
So, well, Evan, I want to thank you so much for being here with us today. This really was a spectacular interview. I want to thank all you guys, our listeners, for listening. If you are interested in being on my show or know someone that is, please contact me on my socials, Joey Guden on Facebook or Instagram, or contact us at jgshowofficial@gmail.com. This could be you. You could be in the chair that Evan's in right now. So please, if you are interested in being here and know someone that is, please contact me. We are always ready for guests, and we would love to hear your story. Well, again, y'all, thank you so much for listening. Until next time, JG Nation.